a recent study published in Nature reveals a stark reality. Consumption in affluent nations, notably the US and UK, accounts for a significant 13% of global forest loss beyond their borders. This alarming statistic underscores the far-reaching consequences of consumer habits in developed countries, highlighting the interconnectedness of global ecosystems and the disproportionate impact of wealthy nations on biodiversity loss. Alex Wiebe, a doctoral student at Princeton University and lead researcher on the study, emphasizes the sheer scale of this environmental issue. The research pinpoints the US, Germany, France, Japan, China, and the UK as the countries exhibiting the most substantial negative impacts on foreign ecosystems. The findings underscore the urgent need for a global shift in consumption patterns. Globally, habitat loss, primarily driven by the conversion of wild habitats into agricultural land, poses the most significant threat to the survival of countless species. This alarming trend is responsible for approximately 90% of global habitat loss. The consequences are far-reaching and devastating, contributing to species extinction and ecosystem collapse. The ramifications extend beyond immediate environmental concerns, impacting global. A parallel study, conducted by an international team led by the University of Cambridge and published in Science, adds another layer of complexity to this critical issue. This research investigates the phenomenon of biodiversity leakage, revealing the counterintuitive finding that reclaiming UK cropland for nature conservation might inadvertently cause a five-fold increase in damage to global biodiversity. This paradoxical effect occurs because the land reclaimed for conservation in one area often results in intensified agricultural activities elsewhere, leading to a net loss of biodiversity globally. This underscores the intricate relationships between local conservation efforts and their global repercussions. Professor Andrew Bomford, a prominent researcher involved in the Cambridge study, highlights the potential for unintended consequences. He emphasizes that unless effective measures are implemented to address biodiversity leakage, areas of significant ecological value in developing countries are likely to bear the brunt of conservation efforts in wealthy nations. The study's authors suggest several strategies to mitigate this leakage effect. Reducing the demand for resource-intensive commodities, such as beef, which requires vast tracts of land for production and has a significant carbon footprint, is crucial. Furthermore, conservation efforts should strategically target areas of exceptional biodiversity and regions with limited potential for food production or timber harvesting. This approach prioritizes the protection of the most vulnerable ecosystems and minimizes the displacement of agricultural activities to other, potentially more biodiverse areas. The researchers also propose collaborative initiatives between conservationists and farmers, encouraging practices that promote both environmental sustainability and economic viability. Examples include fostering the development of forest-friendly chocolate production or designing herding practices that protect endangered species like snow leopards. This highlights the potential for win-win scenarios that combine conservation goals with the economic needs of local. While the Cambridge study did not delve into the specific types of crops cultivated, existing research indicates that a substantial proportion, roughly 80% of agricultural land, is dedicated to meat and dairy production. This highlights the disproportionate impact of animal agriculture on land use and biodiversity loss. The combined findings from both studies underscore the urgent need for transformative changes in consumption patterns, agricultural practices, and international conservation policies. A holistic approach is essential, involving coordinated efforts to reduce demand for high-impact commodities, strategically target conservation efforts, and foster collaborative partnerships between conservation organizations and local communities. Only through such comprehensive measures can we hope to mitigate the devastating impacts of wealthy nations' consumption on global biodiversity and forest loss. The interconnectedness of global ecosystems demands a unified and proactive response to address this pressing environmental challenge.